What's going on, everybody? I'm your host, the Carolina Collector, and this video is a viewer request video. We're going to take a deep dive into the Nike Air Jordan 4 white cements from 2016 and compare them directly with the upcoming release. I got mine early. This is the 2025 version of that shoe. But before I begin, I want to say thank you to all my viewers, my subscribers, my supporters, my friends, my family, my neighbors, the leasing office where I live. I mean, everyone across the board have been so supportive and so amazing to me that I'm overwhelmed. That a lot of people have been really standing up for me and having my back and what have you, and I really deeply appreciate that. From the bottom of my heart to all of you, thank you very much for that. A big shout out to my eBay customers. As a matter of fact, certain listings, especially my most recent ones, when it comes to some of the graded slabs and loose cards, over at my eBay store, the Carolina Collector 001. The link is in the description box below. I've lowered some of the prices and recomped some of my most recent listings and dropped the price down because unfortunately, the market does fluctuate if you're into value, so I've adjusted some of my prices accordingly, so go check that out if you want to do a little bit of shopping. It helps to support the content in the channel. But anyway, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, hit the bell to receive notifications. And let's get into this video. So as I said, this is a viewer request video. I still want to review that Optimus Prime, that Studio Series 86 Optimus Prime, and I want to upgrade that guy, but I really just am not in the mood to tinker with that thing right now. I wanted to do something that was a little bit more simple and easy. So I decided, let me just bounce around here a little bit. I'll get to him when I can. But we are going to take a direct look at the 2016 release versus the 2025, which I believe is coming mid-May of this month, or towards the end of this month. I forgot what the exact release date is, but I have a sneaking suspicion that no matter how many of these they pump out, they're going to sell out. That seems to be the vibe that I'm getting from my fellow content creators that review sneakers. But I know I had to have them because, as kids, we all had Jordans. I mean, and as an adult, when they came out in 1999, I actually had, I think, 2 pairs of them, but I ended up selling them on eBay many moons ago. And when they came out with the 2016s, I think I went through 3 pairs. I actually have 1 pair that's off camera that I wear. This is the one that's up on my shelf. And obviously, I got these early. So, and yeah, there's nothing like the old school Nike Air Jordan 4 white cements. So again, to one of my viewers that wanted me to take a deeper dive into this, that's exactly what we're going to do. And the most obvious thing we're going to look at are the pull tabs here on the back. Now, the cement on this pull tab and around the midsole for the 2025 is much darker than the 2016. So when you actually look at this up close, I'm not sure if I mentioned that in my previous video when I reviewed these shoes, but as you can see, you got the black speckles all over the Nike Air on the 2025, which was present on the OGs. And I think the 1999s had them also. The 2016s omitted that feature, unfortunately. But again, if you're owners of the Nike Pine Green SBs or the military blues like I got, they went back to the drawing board and completely reshaped the shoe to make it look like it was the OG, or as close to the OG as they can get it, and they did a bang-up job. As a matter of fact, arguably speaking, the redesign going back to the old school, in my opinion, they're just way more comfortable. I'm not saying that these 2016s or anything prior to this shoe are uncomfortable, but they just have a different feel to them that they hug your feet a lot better. Obviously, if you look at the height differences between the two and the sizes on them, this pull tab and this pull tab are roughly at the same height. It's just the way they're cut is a little different. This one is a little bit wider, I want to say, just by eye and just by looking at it. And again, like I said, the 2025 versions have the speckles on the Nike Air, which is, a pretty sweet feature. But if you look on the back of the shoe, you're going to see there's a lot more meat on the back of the shoe, which was present on the original 89. So if we turn the 2025 version off to the side here, you'll see that curvature. I mean, I tried these on and they fit my feet way, way, way better than these. I'm going to, you know, obviously I'm not going to complain. These shoes have their own characteristics that I really like, but to have that cup, and I think that's what I said in that last video, it kind of cups the back of your foot a lot more. I really like that, and it comes up just a little bit higher. As a matter of fact, you can actually see, if I put these side by side, you can see the height difference between the two and how the 2025 comes up much higher. Well, it's arguably, it's really not much of a difference, but it does come up slightly higher than the 2016s. And there's a lot more padding on the 2025s versus the 2016 drops. And you can really see on the inside. Let me grab my LED. If the camera gets wonky, forgive me. LEDs tend to do that. So if you look inside there, you're going to see the oversized Nike Air swoosh. And if you look at the new drops, they went back to the old school. Now it's got the small Nike Air symbol on the inside, which is pretty neat. So when you look at the tongues, this has a much better curvature to it. Let's turn these shoes to the front of the camera. You're going to see this really, really nice curvature on the tongues of these guys. And these are really thick. These are thin, and it has a square top on it, as you can see there. When you look at the front of the shoes, the netting is actually slightly different. Now, these have yellowed. They're notorious for yelling. A little Angelus paint or some Retro Bright can fix that. But these are more rectangular, where these are more square-ish or square-like. And I like this a lot better. And apparently this was a feature that was on the OG 1989 shoes. And if you take an even deeper dive, excuse me, I'm like getting tongue-tied here, the toe caps are actually a little different. This one is rounded a lot more than the 2016. And again, we're looking at the 2025 right here. And you see the widow's peaks on the leather. And actually, there's a lot less leather on this toe box than there is on this one, which arguably allows more airflow into the shoe. It's very aerodynamic compared to its predecessor. And like I said, I tried these on myself, the 2025s, and they just have a much better feel to them as a result of that. The leather on this is slightly smoother than on this guy. The toe boxes are probably where you're going to see a difference. So this one has more of a smooth, I mean, to the normie out there, you know, you probably won't notice a difference at all. But this one's just a little bit smoother. All the material is up a lot more. You can tell because if you look at this shoe on the 2016, we'll bring that closer to the camera here, you can see how the profile is on this guy. It's much lower. But then you look over here, you see the profile is a lot higher. And I want to say that's more for stability reasons. You can even see that here on the 2016 underneath the wing right here, the support wing, or the stabilizing wing, that it's actually a lot lower on the shoe than this is. So there's a little bit more material involved here. And if you look at the netting on the side of the shoe, clearly this has, to me, a much better look to it. Although, arguably speaking, the argument could be made that because this is bigger, you probably get more airflow onto the side of your foot. But aesthetically, this to me just looks a lot better, in my opinion. And then we got our hang tags. So this is close to the... Actually, both of them in their own ways are close to the OG. The OG 89 had a Nike Air hang tag that was very similar to this. And in this release, you got this hang tag. I kind of prefer this a lot better than this because, you know, if you care for your shoes, it will scratch this eventually. I mean, if you want to wear this hang tag with your shoes, that's up to you, but I wouldn't want to take a risk losing this. So this is a lot better. I actually still have my hang tag on my military blues. So, But you look at, you look at the toe box. There's no, on the 2016s, there's no widow's peaks. Surprisingly, the 2025's got the widow's peaks. These do not. But that's a nice feature because that was also part of the OGs as well. So we'll turn to the side of the shoes. And I just love that. Look, there's just something about the speckles and the cement color that just really pops with this new release. Again, I'm not bashing the 2016s because the 2016s are just as good. But again, it's just those minor little details that they put so much TLC into the 2025s that, I mean, you could see it for yourself. I mean, obviously, these have been sitting up on the shelf and they've started to yellow, which is kind of typical for these shoes. You want to wear your shoes every once in a while. I know some guys buy shoes just to put them in a box and, show them off as museum pieces. But if you don't wear these and you don't give this foam or foam posit or whatever these are made out of, the air bubble will start to fog up like this one has. And you look at this air bubble, you can see how nice and clear it is because they're minty fresh right out of the box. But this has been sitting up on my shelf for a couple of years. So, just exercise caution with these. If you don't wear your shoes, they will start to crumble. I tend to put a little silicone paste on this just to make sure that the material is nice and moist. But yeah, you can clearly see the differences between the sole of this guy, the midsole of the 2016 versus the 2025s. And here is where you can really see a lot of the differences between the shoes, where there was so much TLC put into this. I mean, you look at the wing on this side, you look at the wing on this side, you can see there's a lot more material over here. And again, with a guy that has big feet like mine, I have size 13 feet. It just hugs my feet so much better. There's a lot more room in these shoes than there are of these. I don't know if you guys own the Pine Green SBs or the latest blue drops from Nike and SB, or the I guess they're the militaries. I don't know what you call them, the Navy SBs. I forget. You sneakerheads out there can correct me. Again, I don't script my videos or take notes. I just come off the cuff with these reviews. So leave a comment in the comment section below. But yeah, they're redesigned in the same fashion. They just hold up so much better. These shoes, to me, are just way, way more comfortable. That could be the placebo effect. I'm not sure. As far as the lace holes are concerned, there's really not much difference that at least I can see. I mean, arguably, there's really not much difference between this and this. They're basically the same. Now, as far as the soles are concerned, there was one little detail I did notice, that these slots here on the soles, on the bottom of the shoes, are actually a little wider than these guys are. I know that's like a minor detail, and you really, really have to look at these shoes to see that. But yeah, these are very, very thin compared to the 2016s. I don't know why that is. The same thing goes for, the slots right here. Obviously, that's to allow for the movement of the shoe as you walk. So you can see right here, this is much more pronounced and arguably much wider. I don't know if that's just maybe, this copy is a little different. You might not notice that on camera, but this slot here on the 2025s is just a little bit more wider than the 2016s. It could be just me, I don't know. But again, like you can see on the 2025 cut, again, this slot right here is a little bit thinner than this guy is. Now, the obvious thing on the bottom is the Nike Air. You got your herringbone. There's really not much difference. You can see the stars on the bottom are very pronounced. And there's really not much difference in the herringbone and the bottom of the 2025s. They're pretty much identical. The stars are pronounced throughout the front of the toe, the sole here, excuse me. As far as the sole is concerned, this one has a little bit more of a sheen or a shine to it compared to the 2016 drops. That might be just a function of time with these sitting on a shelf. Not sure if that's the case. Maybe if you guys got minty fresh versions of these, that might not be the case, but I'm just going to assume that maybe that's only because it's been sitting up on a shelf for all these years. And there it is again. So, I mean, again, that's just a minor detail. So, the stitching on both of these are really nice. I want to say, arguably, that the stitching on this shoe is a little tighter than the 2016s. In other words, the spacing on the stitching is slightly wider or spaced out more than the stitching here on the toe box and throughout the shoe. Now, if you put these shoes side to side, you're going to actually see that this toe box or this shoe, and you really have to, oops, almost knocked the camera over. You have to be hawk-eyed. If you look at the toe box and the overall design of both shoes, arguably this is wider in design, and it doesn't have this curvature to it that this shoe has. You can see it has like this crescent shape to it, whereas this shoe doesn't really have that, but I would have to say you would have to break it in a little bit, but you can see the profile on it is much straighter. Now, again, I've only wore these maybe 2 or 3 times and put them on the shelf because, I have a second pair that are like my throw-around shoes. But this feature here, it's a lot more curved and has more of a crescent shape to it than this one does. Which, to me, again, that says that there's a lot more material in this shoe than there is on this one. And then when you put them side to side on the front, you can actually see that a little bit. There's the height difference I was talking about right there. This 2025 version comes up a little bit higher. The Jumpman is the Jumpman, like always. I mean, they have his ass a little bit more pronounced on the 2025, which is kind of funny. They also put more junk in his shorts there, which I think is funny too. Arguably, this is a little bit brighter than this. But this probably faded as a function of time. That could be an argument that could be made. I'm trying to see what else I can point out with this shoe, or these shoes, I should say. After that, guys, I mean, there's really not much more I can really compare them to. Oh, the obvious are the tags on the inside. That's another one too. I might as well point that out while I'm looking at these. So, there's the new modern day tag with the QR code on it. Right there, and then we have the tag on the inside for the previous version with the UPC symbol on it. And I think that's just about it. That's how the cookie crumbles here, ladies and gentlemen. That's about as detailed of an analysis and observation that I can make. I really don't see anything else between the two shoes. A lot of it are just design changes. Again, they went back to redesign this release to look much more like the OG from '89. And I like it a teensy bit more than this shoe. So, but both shoes have their characteristics. I wear both shoes. I'm eventually going to take these outside and wear them. I'm not going to do that today because we're expecting rain today, so that would be kind of foolish to do that. I don't want to ruin these right out of the box, but I will give these a run for their money. But in the meantime, I've got these, and I've got my toss-arounds that I've got, which I still wear. Like I said, wear your shoes, everybody. Oh, I forgot to mention this as well. So there's the upside-down Air Jordan. Not much difference there, except that there's maybe a bit of a color difference between the two. But, this could be just a function of time with these sitting up on the shelf. And here again, you can see the difference in the tongues, how square this one is and how round this one is. And that's it. That's all I can really find. Like I said, the one viewer wanted me to do a more detailed deep dive into the shoe. But that's pretty much it. I can't see anything else. I mean, You know, with the exception of the elastic on the side or inside the shoes, I mean, I can't really see. Those are pretty much exactly the same in both versions, but they're both present in there. But again, you know, look, I wasn't even paying attention and a hang tag came off. That's why I would never wear a hang tag with a metal chain and one of these OG styled hang tags, because they are so susceptible to falling off or breaking or snapping. Oh, there goes the rain. I called it. I'll fix this later. But anyway, yeah, these hang tags are real susceptible to snapping, breaking, and scratching your kicks. I really don't recommend walking around with them. Some guys do. I don't. But anyway, that's pretty much it, folks. I really can't see any other differences. I mean, again, oh, you can see the color difference right there, by the way. And they both maintain their shape when you do that, so. All right, I think I've covered it all. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have me some lunch. Thank you for checking out this video. Don't forget to smash that like button, comment in the comment section below, hit the bell to receive notifications, and most importantly, subscribe if you want to help support the channel. Check out my eBay store. The link is in the description box below. If you're interested in sports cards, whether graded, raw, and I may have some various other items from time to time. Thank you, everyone. From the bottom of my heart, God bless you. Enjoy your Friday. And like always, take care. God bless. Stay safe. Be careful out there. You know, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on in this world these days. If you've been watching the channel, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So I will see you all in the next video. Take care, everybody.